do you think of when you hear the word home? What image or person pops into your mind? For me, when I hear the word home, I immediately think of anchor, because I know wherever I am, despite whatever else is going on, when I get to my home in Jackson, Mississippi, I can take a breath and rest in the comfort of knowing everything is going to be okay. And even though the Southern charm and the beauty of my home is initially what drew me to it, it's not what I love best about living there. It's the environment. It's the fact that my family literally lives right down the street, literally a block away. It's knowing that my son is receiving a high quality education and he lives in a community where he feels safe and welcomed. Because we all know that this feeling of security, that sense of being anchored, is important to our overall well-being and to living a successful, fruitful life. Because this is important because Springboard, the organization that I run, our core belief is that when families thrive, neighborhoods thrive. Springboard to Opportunities works directly with families that live in federally subsidized housing across the country. We provide radically resident-driven programs such as after-school programs, job placement and training, and social service counseling. Our goal is to ensure that our families have the tools that they need to be successful in life, school, and work. What we have learned is that giving families these opportunities, by giving them permission to dream, it is vital to the success of a community, because a family's education, their economic status, or their overall well-being does not stay confined to that household, but it spills over into the sidewalks, impacting every neighbor, every business, and every community. So our core belief with Springboard is that when neighborhoods thrive, families thrive. And this is not just our belief, but it is actually a fact. Recent research as it relates to human capital shows that the success of a community can be found in the residents who live there. It's the people themselves that have the tools and the skills to create the communities that we are all thriving for. So the equation seems simple. Affordable housing plus family-guided services equals more success. Let me introduce you to one of our residents, Val. I initially met Val about 4 years ago when Springboard was a mere concept. She invited me into her home that she had lived in for over 30 years, her affordable housing community, and we talked for hours. She told me how difficult it was living in poverty, trying to raise a family, and she also told me that it was so difficult that her light has dimmered. She no longer had dreams for herself. She decided to invest all of her energy in her boys. Maybe she could get them out. But something miraculously happened. As Springboard began to implement programs driven by our residents, Val's light was reignited. She began to believe in a future for not just her boys, but for herself as well. She became anchored in hope. And this anchoring in hope is fundamental to Springboard's ideas. We, as I said earlier, are radically resident-driven. And what that means is that we place the families at the heart of all of our programs. We recognize that their input is vital to the success of anything this organization does. So how does this actually look in application? Whenever Springboard goes into a community, we actually place staff within those affordable housing communities that we work in, because we want to make sure that residents know that they have someone that they can talk to at any time. We have quarterly listening sessions with residents, and we have yearly visioning meetings. And in these yearly visioning meetings, we create what is called a community blueprint. That community blueprint is the guiding document for that community for that year that determines all of the partnerships that we will establish and the programs that will be implemented. And each community that we work in has a different blueprint because there's no cookie cutter approach. Not all communities are the same. Since I initially met Val, our work has grown like wildfire. We have gone from a pilot working in 2 communities to we're now working in 11 affordable housing communities in multiple states. And we are serving about 4,500 individuals annually. And we work with the entire family, not just the adults. We take a 2-gen approach where we work with the kids as well. Because if we are going to impact poverty, we have to work with the entire family and impact that whole family. Let me tell you about one of the families that we worked with, Phoebe. We initially met Phoebe through her two boys. Her sons were involved in our after-school programming and our mentoring program. When we met Phoebe, Phoebe had been enrolled in community college for 7 years. She had been trying to get a 2-year degree for 7 years. The complexity of managing a life in poverty, trying to work, raise kids, it was overwhelming. But she had not given up. She was still working towards her goal. We were able to get Phoebe graduated in 6 months. All she needed was someone who believed in her, to anchor her in believing in herself. Phoebe now works for a local university, and she is doing great. The beauty of Springboard's approach is that we recognize that the key to building strong communities are the families that live in those communities. They have everything that they need to be successful. But if they are the answer, we must listen to them, we must trust them, and we must support them. I would like to challenge you all to change your ideal of affordable housing, to not just think about the physical space of affordable housing, but begin to think about the families that live in those communities as well, recognizing that they are magnificent and awesome and tenacious and courageous, and also recognizing that it is a larger community that we are all a part of. And we must continue to anchor ourselves, not just in our dreams, but in their dreams as well. Thank you. Yeah.